Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It. We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I thank you for listening. I am Kevin Mumphrey, and this is It. We Will Fix It in Post. I have my colleagues with me, Carson Hype Ferguson and Victoria V.A. Jones.
Good evening.
If that's how you want to do it. Today, we'll be talking to a young filmmaker out of the Baltimore area. He goes by the name of Myles Michelin. Michelin.
Oh, don't make it like the last time.
No.
Don't do that.
Myles Michelin. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am great. So what got you into the world of filmmaking?
So I started with an internship in 11th grade, my junior year of high school, with the Baltimore City schools. So they have a media team, and I got in with that, and basically the guy that led the media team kind of put me behind a camera, and I've just been in love with it ever since.
So before then, did you have even thought about working with like film or television or anything of that nature?
No, I had no idea what I wanted to do before then.
So what was it?
Go ahead.
What was it about being behind the camera that just kind of sunk you in?
It was just I don't know. It was just I just got a feeling this is it. I like this. So basically what we did was we went to different schools around the city, and we talked to teachers and got some interviews from kids about what they were doing in projects and classes. And the interview part of it really got me. I was like, okay, this is really cool. But also the camera and technical side of it was setting up everything and, getting the microphones ready and whatnot. That was all really cool too. So I was just like, okay, whatever this is, I want to do this as a career and I want to get paid for this.
Now, is it because you were into more tech stuff? Cause I nerd out on gear too.
Oh yeah. I was always a tech nerd. I always used to, so growing up, both my grandparents and my mom were always into photography. So I used to I was always around cameras, but I think 11th grade was when I took it seriously. But I was always around cameras and just being a kid, pressing buttons and stuff, wondering what things do, was always kind of interesting to me. And I was like, well, why can't I do this for a career? And how do I do this as a career and get paid for it? So.
That's what's up right there.
Now, usually when you hear about video programs in the high school level, they more do shooting as far as more as formatted to news. Is that the type of stuff that your school was doing?
Yes, it was based on, it was like a news program for the whole school district. So all of the schools in Baltimore City, it was like a news program. It was a news.
Wow. That's pretty major right there.
That was pretty cool.
So what would you say that would be the importance of having that program in a high school for high school kids?
Very important, I think, because I think a lot of it, especially with inner city kids, trying to figure out what they like to do and that's positive, and it's a really good thing. And I think that I don't know for sure because it's been a while since I've been in school. I graduated in 2019, so but I don't know if they still have that program for my school. But if they do, I would recommend anybody like to go and do it. And also, if they should just have them for all schools everywhere, honestly, because it's just really cool. Like the first day I went in, I did a lot of editing. So I worked in Final Cut Pro with editing different stories and pieces and parts of different stories and then I went on shoots, and that was kind of like an extra thing for me, like, you know, because usually I did from 9 to 2. That was my time, and then anything after that was I just got extra. It was for service learning hours because you had to get a certain amount to graduate. So that's what instead of getting paid, that was my payment. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just like, for me, it was just really inspiring, and it was just like something, it was really eye opening just to see like how they did their job, and, you know, just putting cameras on tripods and getting things like set up. Like the whole setup was really like interesting to me, and then seeing the final product of it was also like really amazing too.
Now, have you thought of like working in news per se?
Yeah, I have thought about it. So I thought about it for a while. So it was funny because my mom and I did a mock interview with my mom because she does some stuff around the city as well, and I just talked to her about like what she does in the city and whatnot. And when we were done, and she was like, that was probably one of the best interviews I've ever had, and you don't do that at all. Like, you know, I don't work for the news. I'm not like a news reporter or whatever. But like, I think of like people like Lester Holt, like when it comes to inspirations and stuff, like who inspires me and whatnot. He's one of the big inspirations for me. Like, I do want to do more interviewing than actual filmmaking, but also I want to do both. But I feel like for me now, I think interviewing is pretty cool. Like, I really like the conversations that I have with people when I go out and do these short films and whatnot.
So I know it's like you mentioned that you like doing interviewing. A lot of your content is basically documentary based. Is that more of the lane of filmmaking you want to get in?
Yeah, for sure.
So nothing like fiction or romance or anything of that nature?
No, no, because I feel like the vision of what I have for whatever this is that I want to call this eventually at some point, like, I feel like it's more documentary based. And I feel like for me, it's more about the people and the stories and whatnot. And yes, you can get that through other genres, but I think that for me, this is kind of like I also like watching I watch a couple of different documentaries here and there, some Ken Burns stuff here and there. And I like
I was going to ask what your favorite one was, and what was the last one you watched in?
It's been a while actually. So there was this one documentary that is actually my favorite. It's about it's kind of like a biography type thing about Bob Marley.
Okay.
It's called Marley. I think it was on.
I've seen that one. That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
yeah. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it was on Netflix for a long time, and I used to watch that like over and over again. Because I am also, like, my father's Jamaican, and like that whole like reggae music and all of that. That's all really interesting to me as well. So, I really enjoyed watching that.
So what would be your ideal project for yourself?
And honestly, I don't really have one. I feel like the project comes from people. Like, if I could just go out and shoot and, you know, have people ask me, what am I doing and whatnot. And that's usually where the best, I feel like the best interviews that I've done come from.
Right.
So just going out and shooting and then having people just on the street ask me, oh, what are you doing? You know, and then I tell them what I'm doing, and then they're like, oh, that's really cool. Well, I do this, and I think that, you know, you should document me. And I'm like, cool, well, let's set it up. Let's get some mics and whatnot. And,
so it's not very hard for you to get people to talk to you on camera.
No, not for the most part. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, but for the most part, no, not really, because I feel like I try to make it more of a conversation, and I try to make it more of a, okay, the camera's not there, even though it is there, but it's just me and you talking like me and you talking right now. Like, it's just a conversation at the end of the day. An interview is just a conversation, just to know more about you and where you come from and how you got to where you are now. Like, that's really inspiring to me, to get the people's stories and to get from, you know, their point A to point B. And that's why I do what I do.
Now, your first project, My Block, was it just you kind of testing around your equipment, or like what was the motivation for that?
So that was actually kind of like an off the, like, I don't want to say like off the dome kind of thing. Cause like I was trying to find another block to do, because for me, documenting myself and getting like myself, I want to wait until my thing is, I want to do so much more, and my thing is about other people. And then when I get to that point where it's like, okay, I've done a lot and people know who I am, you know, then people can do stuff on me and I can be interviewed and whatnot. But that was kind of just like my first time. That was actually my first time in front of a camera. I usually, like, a lot of the stuff I do is behind camera. So that was kind of, it was a collaboration project with a couple of people. And basically it was, the focus was just to get the community of where you live. And so I kind of did it as like a tour guide kind of thing, like a, you know, with the help of a good friend of mine who actually put me on to videography, Jim Ajobian. He kind of set me, you know, put the camera in my hand, was like, here, and also kind of convinced me to do the in front of the camera stuff too. So
how weird was it for you in front of the camera? Was it awkward for you, or was it just like second nature?
Oh no! At first, it was horrible. It was awkward.
It'd be like that.
I was like, oh my god, we had to do like, thank God he knew what he was doing, and you know, we had to do like so many takes. And then it was like around this time, so it was like hot as I don't know what outside. And then of course, me being me, I'm out here wearing like all black, and it's like, you know, 80 some, almost 90 some degrees outside, and
oh, you're burning.
Here. Oh yeah. Yeah, by the time we were done that, I was like, okay, this is it. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it was, at first it was kind of like, you know, and then I don't know what it is, but like I've been on a couple other podcasts, and I don't like hearing myself talk. So I was
like that's completely normal.
That's all of us.
I went to a broadcasting school for a little bit, and they used to have me like, I used to just gravitate behind the board or whatever, doing the operating. I'd be doing commercials for everybody because I was more familiar with the equipment. But then they were like, "Oh, we really like your voice. Can you do this commercial?" I'm like, I hate my voice
completely. I can't.
I don't hate it anymore, but
I still hate mine.
I just like,
so.
I'd rather not if I had the option.
Well, I love my voice. It took me a while to get here, but I absolutely love the sound of my voice. It sometimes puts me to sleep.
Wow.
But
That's why we let him do all the talking.
so
Wow.
it's quite soothing when I want it to be. But
So,
yeah, for your first project, did you outline it at all? Like, so how did you outline your tour guide?
So, I mean, it was like I said, it was kind of like an off the dome thing. There wasn't really much of an outline, and it was kind of just because like I already knew, like I've been here about a couple years now, so like 4 years almost, I think. So I kind of knew a little bit about the neighborhood itself, and I'm like, okay, well, and then just seeing it, just like looking around, I can tell you that this is what this is. And it was more about for me, it was more about, just my take on the neighborhood and my thoughts of it were, but doing it in a way that's not, just a sit down interview and, nobody's going to want to watch that because it's 10 minutes of me just blabbering on it.
Now, when you originally posted on YouTube, do you have any expectations on viewership at all?
So that's actually really funny. So and it's for all of my videos, like everything that I post, I don't have any type of, I put it out there. If they watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. They like it. I'm not let's get a like goal of 1,000 or whatever. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't do that. I'm a filmmaker.
And as you should be, because that's what filmmakers are. They're filmmakers and not, trying to.
Not some. Yeah, I mean, no
shade.
No shade to YouTuber people. Do the thing. You got 1 million some subscribers and getting paid for it. Hey, I'm not.
No, there are some filmmakers that are YouTubers. Just to be honest, there is a difference though. You're not catering toward that type of audience. I got you.
No, my thing is whoever wants to watch it, you can watch it, and if you don't, whatever. But what really got me was I was actually outside on a walk, just walking around my neighborhood and whatnot, and this lady on her porch yelled at me and was like, I watched your video. I saw it on YouTube. It was really good. And that's when I was like, oh God, thank you. It was really awkward, but at the same time, I literally, I walked the rest of my walk. I walked with my head a little bit higher than I did when I first came outside because I was like, oh yeah, you saw my video and you know who I am? Oh yeah. And
it's a good feeling. It is.
Oh,
it's
great to play.
right.
Wait till you get stopped when somebody's squinting from across the room at you, and then they run up on you real quick. You be like, yo, I gotta make a split second decision real quick. What's about to happen? And they be like, where I know you from?
Yeah, I haven't had that yet.
It's coming. I promise you. It's happened to me a couple of times. I walked in. No, don't I know you? No, you don't. But
yeah, usually, and that would be my answer. I'd be like, no, you don't know me. or where do you know me? Where do you think you know me from?
Yeah, that's the other thing I would say. I'd be like, where you think you know me?
Answer, I'd be like, oh yeah, or oh no, that's not me. That's other dude. I don't know him.
There's like a I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff, but there's an actress. I actually saw her at a film festival. She has a book, and the title is "I Don't Know Where You Know Me From," because she's famous enough to be in all these different things,
right?
But not famous enough for people to remember her name or remember where they saw her at. So that's the first thing she gets is like, "Hey, where do I know you from?" And she's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Is that something you kind of, because as you kind of get better at what you're doing and become more successful, more people will know you than you know them?
Yeah.
Is that something you kind of worry about?
Not really. I mean, I think that it's, I think that my answer would be if somebody that down the line, if somebody just random that I've never met before comes up to me, where do you know me from? Where do I know you from? where do you know me from? Like, I'm going to ask them. And if they don't know, then I don't know either. Because, you know,
I don't know either. I like that.
I don't know either. Because I don't really want to be like my thing is more being behind the camera, and my job, I think, is more about the people themselves, and it's not about me at all. It's about the people and who else is in the film and who else is, you know, their stories and where they came from, and that's the main focus. Like, if you know me from wherever, cool, yeah, I did this, you know. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I don't know, I didn't do that, but you know, yeah, my thing is more about the people and what the camera sees and what the camera shows you, instead of me and what I'm doing behind the camera.
Now, your mini series, Heart of the City. What kind of influenced you to do that?
So we did so we did the East Side and the West Side series, and then think that my guess is that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we started off at the East Side, and literally, I mean, I feel like it was just the same. It was just the same thing with the West Side. It started off as we just started walking around different parts of East Baltimore and finding different people that we thought were interesting, or they asked us what the hell we were doing outside with a whole bunch of cameras and lighting equipment, walking around like, you know,
Get 'em.
whatever. And that was kind of it. And we just found really cool people. My favorite one, actually, out of all of them, would be the Cocina Luchadores one. I don't know if you've seen that one, but the Mexican restaurant, that was really good, and we got free food. So,
Sweet.
Food is always a good thing. Yeah, they were like, oh, I found the house. We're good. Oh, don't worry about it.
I would show up with my camera a little bit more often if people like gave me some free
that's
food.
what I'm saying.
Right.
They'd be like, hey, I'll give you some exposure.
Oh, yeah. I'll
And
give you a little bit
expose
of, oh, yeah. I totally do that. Now, I've also thought about doing that, too. Like, maybe going to different restaurants and, you know, doing basically the same thing that I did with the Cocina Luchadores, and hopefully getting free food out of it at the end. But if not, you know, it's all good.
Well,
But, you know,
that's a pretty good thing to do to like local restaurants that like they can't necessarily get a commercial for themselves done. You get something for your portfolio, and they have something that they can share. So it gives you a little bit more attention, and it gives them a little bit more of attention as well.
Right.
most of the time I might get free food. So anywhere
That always
there's free,
works.
Absolutely.
I'm there.
Always works. So how cool is it to have your mom as a photographer alongside yourself?
So she used to do photography like a lot more. She does a lot of stuff with housing now. She doesn't do a lot with photography, but I've always like kind of nudged her, hey, you should pick the camera back up and we could be like camera pals. But you know, we could be, you know, it would be cool. And I think she's still thinking about it, but she's like really busy with her actual work. She does a lot of stuff with housing within the whole state of Maryland. It started off with just Baltimore City, and now she's like ventured out into the whole state of Maryland.
Does she still try to like give you pointers as far as when you're doing your video work and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. She always gives me, because I feel like, you know, yeah, it's different, but it's not really that different. I feel like it's just, you know, it's a still image versus a non-still image.
Right.
So I think that, you know,
if you got the eye, you got the eye.
Well, thousands of still images stitched together, right?
yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of still, videography is it's still images put together, a little bit of music on there, and there you go.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
Not that simple, but, you know.
No revisions.
Just a couple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there might be a couple, but I mean, in its basic form, that's basically it's what it is.
Right.
But there is a lot more that goes into it that
Now, does your family sees your work at all?
Yeah, both my parents, they are very. I feel like they're very proud of what I'm doing. My mom is very much still, this is great, but college, and my dad is kind of like, this is great, keep doing it. They're very supportive of my stuff. Even with like coming out of, well, my mom more than my dad, but that doesn't really matter. Coming out of her own pocket to help support my stuff. So I'm not, I'm very grateful that both of my parents are supportive, because I know that there's a lot of stuff that people, there's a lot of stuff, like not even just filmmaking, like this stuff in general, like I want to do this and it's positive and it's not, especially, I keep going back to that because there's so much negativity, like I don't want to do, I want to sell drugs and whatnot in Baltimore. And, like people in the city of Baltimore, it's so negative. It's when you think of, when people think of Baltimore, there's always a negative connotation with it. And it's like, that's another reason why I do what I do. Because it's like, no, these people are not just a bunch of ratchet drug dealer,
Right.
drug addict people. They're people, and they have amazing stories, and they've come from amazing places. And let's get all that on camera if they're comfortable with it. Because
I think that's super important. I mean, like humanizing the people that are there, so people don't just see a sound bite or a news clip or like an internet, deal, whatever, and then that's their whole, representation of what you are.
Right.
And that's not it. That's not it.
Exactly, because if you just go on Google, look up Baltimore news, murder.
We're from Memphis. We get it. We get it.
First 48. Yeah.
Like we absolutely understand.
No, yeah, most definitely. I actually I visited Baltimore when I was younger, and I got a good vibe from the people there. Of course, you see what you see on the news, but as far as the vibe, I enjoyed it.
And then another thing too, which it's a great show. It's a great it's a great series, but The Wire.
I knew you was hitting
I was waiting for it. I was like,
I was eventually going to go there.
It's
but
like a countdown.
Since you've already opened that door, please.
Like, if all you know about Baltimore is The Wire, then shut up, because like you don't know anything.
No, you like just a little bit before your time, but when the Cosby Show was on, like in the early '90s, Rock was based in Baltimore, I believe. That was a great show. And, he was dealing with like some of the problems of the city before then, trying to raise a good family. That was a good show.
Rock.
Yeah, he
go
was like
back.
a garbage man.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I remember that.
See if I can watch that. But yeah, like there's a lot of just negative connotations with the city, and I mean, not all of it is wrong. I mean, you're not, a lot of it is based on facts and based on numbers, and but there's a lot of stuff that you don't see in the city if you just, and a lot of the people, and for me, it's a lot of people who just are either scared to come here or have only been to the Inner Harbor and they left, and then that's it. Like, I don't even know why people go to the Inner Harbor anymore. There ain't nothing there. It's like,
so for people who haven't been to Baltimore, like kind of explain what is something like what is so great, what is great about Baltimore that people don't know? Because most people, when they think of Baltimore, especially if from a filming sense, they think The Wire. And it made probably too much of an impression of what Baltimore is.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, really, my thing is just treat it like it's any other hood, because Baltimore is the hood, but don't, have your, don't just walk outside with your phone out like, oh, let's get all the pictures and videos, because then they're going to either rob you. Be smart about it. explore, do your thing, but be smart about it. Just be cautious, obviously, because you never know. But explore and ask people who, if you were, if somebody were to ask me, hey, what's like 2 things to go do in Baltimore? I would say the aquarium, but the aquarium's like $60 for 2 people, so it's like ridiculous. It was like 20 when I was growing up, like when I was little. I used to go to the aquarium all the time. But I would go to, there's a spot in East Baltimore called Nacho Banger, and they have really good food. I would go shop at some local clothing stores. Like, I would do a lot of research more. I would use social media for, like, instead of just straight up Google, or just look up Baltimore clothing stores and, what else would I do in Baltimore if I were a tourist and not, living here for 20 some years? That would kind of be it. I mean,
you got proximity to everything else too, because the whole DMV area.
Yeah, which is weird because it's a weird thing. Like Baltimore, people in Baltimore, when you say DMV, they're like, no, we're not DMV. Technically, yes, we are, but we're our own thing, and we're not. We don't claim the DMV. It's weird, but you know what? Honestly, I don't really care. You say the DMV because it is that. You don't say the DMV, whatever. But I mean, yeah, I feel like if you, like I said, just explore, but just be cautious, because you never know. You don't want to look like a tourist in Baltimore. Unfortunately, that's a thing. You can look like it. Then again, maybe even in like New York, you don't really want to look like a tourist anymore.
I think it depends on the area. Like, cause I was in Vegas one time, and if you look like a tourist in this one spot, oh, you might as well be some candy.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for real.
I do not want to be anyone's candy.
No, that's no fun. At least for me.
But one day, actually, because I mean, like you were saying, it's best not to be kind of walking around recklessly in certain neighborhoods. But you basically were walking around with cameras in certain neighborhoods. So how do you go about that without catching any trouble for yourself?
So there's also a lot of other people with me. It's not just most of the time I'm not by myself. And a lot of the time it's just the way you carry yourself. You don't go in there with a camera and start pointing it in everyone's faces. And, what you get when you first get to a place like Penn North and you start capturing stuff, you capture things around you. You capture the buildings, signs, and, cars going past. You don't even really capture the people at first. And if you're lucky, you can get, because my mom is a really great photographer. So she does a lot of, not really portraits, because she doesn't do portrait photography at all, but she will, if you do look through her thing, her portfolio, there's a lot of like just people, like she gets people just doing their thing. But yeah, I mean, and I feel like for a lot of it is more just conversation. I just go and talk to people, and usually when I come with a camera in a hood, they're not like, oh, that's easy money. They're more like, oh, what are you doing? And then once I think my answer will tell them either, oh, this is easy money, or oh, let's leave this kid alone, or oh, let's figure out more about what this kid does because it's great. So, I feel like I feel like sometimes people, like if they were to come here with a camera, to like Penn North or Harlem Park, they would go and they would make it like, don't do it like you're going to New York. And, you see all the Times Square and you're just like, oh, let me just play my camera. And, because I feel like to the people that live there, it's like you're making them look like a zoo exhibit. in a way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Instead of actual people. And it's like, now you're trying to make fun of us. Now we're going to take your shit because we want it. And we know how much it is. We're not stupid. We know how much that costs. So we can take that and we can sell that to some guy for X amount of dollars. And like, there's a big drug problem. So, you know, we sell that for X amount of dollars and then we're going to turn around and go get drugs with that, because you don't treat Baltimore like New York when you go in with a camera.
I saw a documentary a long time ago, and I'd say about 8 years ago, and they were traveling through like a lot of the hoods in California, so like you know, L.A., Watts, you know, the big time joint, Crenshaw, all that, and they were just talking about all the stuff they was going through, and I was amazed at the reception of the camera crew, and I watched behind the scenes, and they were talking about how the camera crew treated them like humans. So I'm guessing like that's what you're really talking about, you know, like between the zoo exhibit and, you know, actually just treating a person like a person. Not like, oh, I'm gonna get mine, I'm out here, you know.
Yeah.
Like, tires squealing.
Yeah. you know, and then that's another thing too. You don't look when you go into these neighborhoods, don't look like you're scared. Even if you know what? And I will say this, there are some neighborhoods where I've been and I've been like, I want to get out of here because I don't know why these people are looking at me like that. But I don't look like that. You know, I don't get all shy and timid, because then that's when they're going to come for you. And that's when they're going to get you, because they're like, oh, he looks like he's scared. So let's make him even more scared and get his stuff. So, no.
They run up on you. What it do?
Yeah.
I love the accent, man.
I do
accent.
too.
I love
It was one guy you were interviewing. I believe he's a rapper, and it almost feels like he rapped, like he even talks like he in rhythm.
So, you know, I don't know about a lot of people here, but I know for me, and I know it's not, but I feel like sometimes that's kind of like an insult, like, you know. Like, I hate that. I actually had this person one time. They messaged me, and, you know, I don't know. I think they were talking to me about, like, you know, I saw what I've seen your work. I like it, whatever. And they're like, oh, are you actually from Baltimore? And yeah. And then the thing was, the next question they asked was, can you do me a favor and send you a voice recording of you saying these following words?
No. Oh, man, that's horrible.
Oh my goodness.
That's horrible.
Block. Okay, not block. And see, that's part of it. You know, that's part of it too. Like, that's what I mean when I say, like, people that aren't from here treat us like we're a zoo exhibit. Like, we're not going to say to UN Avenue. You know, not everybody talks like that. First of all, majority of people talk like that, but not everybody talks like that. And then, you know, we're people. We're not, you know,
right.
we say our things a certain way. You know, if you go into the deep south, they say they're, you know, they have their slang and their whatever that sounds funny to other people.
I'm talking about man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say that.
No, man. Yeah.
Nah, I don't say that. Memphis, you know, that's a Memphis thing, okay?
Oh, man. I love that too. I love dialects, and, like, you know, it's cool. And, you know, I won't point that out other than that one time with this British lady, and it's just a bad situation. Like, apparently she didn't like the fact that I was saying all that.
No, it's you know, everybody doesn't talk that way. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, you know, the Memphis comes out when I'm upset, but I don't talk like that on a regular basis.
I get where people are coming from when you know, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, you got to be careful, because to some people and to a lot of people, that's actually an insult. Like, don't come here and just tell me to say to you an avenue and get that on camera. Oh my God, he said to you avenue. Oh my God, and then leave. Like, ooh, like,
Oh man, that's very very obnoxious. It really is.
Very motivating to rob someone.
there you go.
Yeah, listen, You would come up to me and say, "Hey, can you say hey, man?" I will take what you got. I'll be like, "What? You want me to say what? Oh, okay. Let me have what you got."
Hey man, let me get that what's in your pocket.
It's different though. Like you go there, you go to Houston, Texas. Between Houston and Dallas, there's a little bit of difference, and then you go out to California, and there's difference. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. All the differences are beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, would you say your like objective as far as a filmmaker is kind of to show a different light of Baltimore?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, for how so?
Oh, I mean, you know, it's kind of just like when you see what you see in the news, and I feel like it's just like, you know, a lot of the negative, a lot of the, you know, a lot of the connotations when it comes to Baltimore are negative, and there's a lot of positive that goes on here that you don't see every day, and I want to show that through, I guess, film, because that's an easy way to show things. Is people just watch it, and you have to, you know. One thing I don't like doing, I hate reading. So, like, writing for me is that's out of the question. I actually love to write, but I'm not going to put people through that torture because I hate reading. But, you know, I just, you know, my whole high school career, I just had to read. And I got put in this AP English class that I don't even know why I got in there. I don't even know how I got in there. But you know what? The whole class was a bunch of reading different books, and I definitely didn't take it. And the teacher at the end, she was like, "Oh, so Myles, do you want to take the AP test?" And I was like, "No, no, thank you." Well, you can get college credit. That's wonderful for the people that pass that AP test, but I'm not going to pass that AP test. So, yeah. So I feel like when it comes to, like, I'm also very much of a visual person. Like, you have to show me something in order for me to, first of all, believe that what you're saying is true, because I don't go off and just, you say this and that's blah. No. And two, for me to understand what you're saying, I have to see it. So I think that's why I went the video, the filmmaking route.
So with you being a visual person, do you like editing?
No.
That is the common answer. That is the common answer.
No, I hate editing. I will say that I did not, most of the editing that has been done for the project, I did little to none. But I, like, a lot of the interviews that, and the shot, like the B-roll, a lot of that I've done, you know, I've done like parts here and there, but, yeah, I hate editing, because, like, for me, it's like, I can't, and the thing for me is, like, I can't sit for too long, because, like, there's still a little bit of ADHD in here somewhere, so,
Oh, I get
trying
that.
to sit for 4 or 5 hours, and edit something, no, that's not work, that's not gonna work.
I completely understand that.
Yeah,
For me to sit and edit something and it'd be like 5 hours and I don't notice that 5 hours and change, it had to be one hell of a project.
Oh yeah.
it had to be something you care about.
Even if I
Yeah.
care about it, I'll be drained like after an hour and a half. Like,
That's the thing too. Like, for me in school, like, that's when people ask me about school, and, like, if it's something I don't care about, like, for example, math. Well, for me, math is like a struggle. Like, you know, people say, "Oh, math is hard." No, math is hard. Like, this is my third time taking classes now. I'm at a community college here, yeah, it's been really hard, because, and it's like the basic, and, well, according to the college, it's like the basic math, but I can't even do that.
oh, they told you that mess too?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what. Yeah,
Yeah, I got fooled on that one too. Oh, look, ain't nothing basic about this, man.
yeah. No, there's nothing basic about it at all. And then they were like, "Oh, well, you have to take it in order to keep going." I'm
Yeah,
like,
they
"What do you
told me
mean?"
that too.
They told you that you have to take this in order to keep going, and I'm like, So basically, my mom and I, we went through the whole, like, 2-3 times. And then I think I actually have a meeting with an academic advisor on Wednesday, and my guess is he's going to be like, or he or she is going to be like, or they, which pronouns for me, there's so many of them I can't keep track of them.
Yeah.
So they will be like, you sure you don't want to take math? Or are you sure you don't want to? Yes, I'm sure I don't want to take math. Let's keep it going. Let's go. Like, no, I want to take math here or now. Like, I'm trying to push it off as far away as I can because I need to get some actual credits in and stuff. So, but yeah, math is not fun for me. Like,
I think
at all.
for creatives, math is hell.
Oh my God.
Like that math and science. Those were my two hells.
I actually, I don't know. High school chemistry and college chemistry might be different a lot, but chemistry for me was fun. I love chemistry because you know what? A lot of the stuff we did, we blew it up. So we, there was this one where we like set the tables on fire, and I was like, oh shit, we're all gonna die because, but like, oh shit, this is really cool, but we're all gonna die because, oh my God. So like, yeah, like chemistry was really fun for me. And plus the teacher she was amazing. Her name was Miss Jolly. That's probably gonna be my favorite. That's my favorite high school teacher.
Yeah, I think you just had the great teacher because mine was a nightmare.
Yeah,
I couldn't get out that class quick enough.
Oh man,
I had a physical science teacher that was pretty good. I'm sorry, I was just like.
Oh no, I was gonna say 9th grade science was horrible. Like I used to sleep in that class every day. Would be my nap time because I hated 9th grade science, but 11th grade was great because we used to blow stuff up every other class.
Yeah, I didn't get to blow up nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, I didn't blow nothing up.
No, we didn't blow nothing up.
We didn't blow nothing up.
I don't know. Shoot.
Right.
We got to mix chemicals and see what happens if fire extinguisher was over there just in case.
There was no need for a fire extinguisher in my classroom.
Yeah, we looked at some slides, and then some more slides.
I mean, I knew my science classes were boring. I didn't realize how boring it was until now.
I mean, it was cool, like dissecting the frogs, I guess.
Did y'all do the heart? Y'all have a heart?
We didn't have a heart. We had a frog, and then something else small. I can't even remember what it was.
We had a cow's heart.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we got to play around with that. It was pretty cool.
Dissecting. I've never done that, but I've set tables on fire. Mixed different chemicals and watched them explode in the thing. So, which was always fun.
So now you can be fun at parties.
Oh yeah, yeah, great. But yeah, anytime. So really, anytime the chemistry teacher was like, "Okay, y'all, put on your goggles." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna blow something up. We're gonna set something on fire today." Yes, everybody would look at me like I had 3 heads, but I was literally the only one in that class that was like, "Yes, I'm gonna blow something up. This is what I like." And then we had a test like the next day. But you know what? Whatever. I don't care. Blew something up.
Boy, my science schooling was quite depressing. So we're going to move on. So are you looking to like major in filming in college?
Journalism. I want to do that's probably going to be or I want to start with media, journalism, something in there. Something in that.
So you still may end up in news somehow.
Yeah, I still may. We'll see. But for right now, I think, I think film is a big. What is the actual major that because I just signed up for classes again, and I forgot what the major is, but it's something with like film, but I'm thinking journalism is like something that I'm moving towards in the future.
Now, did they need, when you kind of applied for this program, did they have to see like any of your work?
No, they did not. It was just kind of like, okay, you sign up, you figure out what this, read the course requirements and all that, and then you sign up. No, there was no portfolio added, which I think there's some colleges that do that. There was a high school that I could have went to, but I didn't because I went to another one, which I think they had a portfolio requirement, but I don't even think I wasn't even, I don't think I had much of a portfolio at the time because I was only in 9th grade. So.
Now, what kind of cameras are you, when you film your project, what kind of cameras are you using?
So my family, we use Canons. We're a Canon family. So
A Canon
use,
family.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
What up, cuz?
my mom. Yeah.
What up, cuz?
We use cannons over here too.
Yeah.
Nothing but cannons.
Oh, cool. I was actually thinking about, I've used a GH5 on the most recent project I did. A friend of mine, he brought it out. Well, he was actually an assistant, part of the crew and whatnot, and he had a GH5. And I actually really like it. It's really cool. So I'm thinking about maybe doing both. But yeah, Canon is what I have a T6i. And I think the camera that is mostly used for interviews is a 5D Mark III, I want to say.
Okay.
Full frame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as far as your crew or whoever, who all you have in like your film crew?
It depends. It all it depends on availability, who I want at that time, depending on the project, what it is. So it all depends and it all varies. But one guy that I really like and I really look up to, he's I want to say Micah student. I don't think he graduated yet, but his name is Xavier Plater, and he did a couple things. He did the last project with me, and it was really cool. Because I've worked with him like on some things. I've seen him do his own stuff, but I've never really like collaborated with him before. So that was kind of really cool, and I totally would collaborate with him again on some other stuff. So, but yeah, it all depends on
So you
who's
usually
available.
go out and just kind of look for people, like I guess go online looking for people to shoot with.
I got a bit of a network, so it's kind of like who is available. I go hit up so and so, I hit up these specific people, and like, hey, you want to do this? And sure. Hey, do you want to do this? Sure. Or no, I can't because I'm doing this. But it just depends on who's available. Because I have a pretty solid network of people that I know and I can go to.
So, what it necessarily is the kind of the film community in Baltimore? Is it like a big film? Like, cause I know it's not it's not like L.A. or Atlanta.
No, it's not. It's mostly a music video community. It's not really a film community because I mean, yes, technically music video. So it's so music video saturated. Like everybody does music videos, and everyone's asking me, "Do you do music videos?" And I'm like, "No," because I don't want to do music videos because everybody else in the city does music videos, and it's like I don't really want to do it. And plus, I've tried it. My dad, he's worked with a whole bunch of. He does a lot of reggae music, and he's worked with some like really big names and whatnot, and he's starting to do his own stuff. And I tried to shoot a music video for him, and it didn't work out so well. But yeah, I don't know. It's mostly music video. Like I feel like when it comes to filmmaking, and it's me and a couple of the people. It's not really a big community. But like if you wanted to say like videography community, like just in general, yeah, there's a pretty big sized community. There's a guy who I forgot what his actual name is, but I don't know. But his Instagram is Carter's Vision, and he's actually worked with he's from here and he's worked with Meek Mill. He's doing big stuff with Meek Mill. So
I heard a bunch of wedding photographers and videographers out of that area.
yeah, I think so. I think there are a lot of yeah, I heard that as well.
But like what is it? One of my friends calls it like it's almost like adult film. Like once you do one, it's hard not to do another. And I'm like, come on, man.
My wedding video?
Yeah, like he really had a distaste for the wedding industry for whatever reason. I don't know why.
It's a lot.
There's a lot of people that don't like it whatsoever.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate it.
I wouldn't do it because I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like I wouldn't do weddings.
It's a lot. It's a lot of demands.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
Look. I mean, hey, you gotta pay that cost.
I mean, the money in it.
And
The money is great.
You ain't the boss. You pay that cost, and you ain't the boss.
But I'm the creator of what it is. So it's kind of like, how you gonna tell me how I'm supposed to point the camera?
Hold the camera like this. Point it over there. Point it over there.
Make sure you get this, and you better make sure you hit me on that. Nah,
get my auntie.
None of that.
Get my auntie.
No.
She's over there.
No, we don't do that.
I've helped out. I helped out a guy on one wedding, and y'all giving me flashbacks that I never wanted to have. 'Cause I couldn't stand the wife. I couldn't stand her husband. I couldn't stand her mama. I was like, man, I'm gonna fight somebody here. So we need to just get this over with.
I did one myself, and it was not that bad. It wasn't my best work. And it was some years ago, but that was a good, happy couple.
I mean, yeah, I've done one. No, I've done two. And they weren't bad. And it, one of them was my cousin, but she was like, "Do your thing. I'm not gonna tell you what to do." But that's family.
You'll never get that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, some of them real high end types might. I mean, they'd be like, "Hey, look, this is what you expect. This is what happens. Here's my retainer. I do what I want in this row, and then I'll tell you where to be." And then they accept it.
That doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's some personality conflicts at times.
At times.
That's a very nice way of saying it.
Yeah, at times. That's a nice way to put that.
But Myles, I want to thank you for talking to us today. Now, normally this thing we do before we let our guests go, we like to pretend that you won an Oscar for one of your documentaries.
Oh wow. Okay.
What would your Oscar speech be?
Oh boy, a lot of tears, a lot of tears, a lot of. I'd have to bring a big old box of Kleenex, maybe two. Wow. What would my Oscar speech be? It would be very emotional because my so was it Friday? So Friday, it would have been 3 years since my grandmother passed away, and she kind of, I think her and both my grandparents did a lot of stuff with photography, and that's kind of where a lot of my inspiration comes from. And they also worked their butts off to put me through college, continue putting me through college. So it would be very, very emotional. And, and I also came a long way from what I was a couple years ago. So, it would just be very emotional and yeah. But it would be good. It would be good at the end. I'd get my Oscar and go on down, whatever. But yeah, it would be very emotional and kind of hard to do, but I would definitely get through it.
And you'd party afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank God.
Well, Myles, thank you for taking time out to talk to us today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure. I'm Kevin Mumphrey with Karsten Hype Ferguson.
Sure.
Victoria V.A. Jones.
Yes.
We're going to have to work on that. But today, it is a wrap.